at the last lock now, Endeavour.
Copy that. Calvert, are you receiving?
5 by 5. Securing hardline and ready to go.
EVA team, clear to go. EVA team, go.
Manipulating lock handle. It's set in some kind of recess. Much larger than anything human.
Lock turning and...
So, Endeavour, not getting any image here. Sound is okay.
There is no image. It's pitch.
Suit lights have a 30-meter reach. I'm getting nothing in that radius, Endeavour.
Nothing. Sense of space.
You have a surface?
We're standing on something. A surface, hold on.
Smooth. Rock-like. We're gonna send up flares. Calvert?
Captain?
Million candle power, 2 at 45 degrees. That should give us a field of vision.
Copy that.
Ready on that, sir.
Lockdown sun visor. It's gonna be getting bright in here. Endeavour?
Endeavour ready. Private channel, Captain.
Go on, Jerry.
This is going to be networked system-wide once we get back. You should be aware of that.
Noted, Jerry. Private channel out. Flares ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, and...
Flares go. Oh my lord. Will you look at that? Will you look at that?
Isaac Newton once compared himself to a child picking up stones on the beach of the ocean of knowledge. Today, we're standing before an ocean vaster than any we've known before. The crew of Endeavour have been drawn from many of the inhabited planets and moons of the system, and it will be in a spirit of amity and cooperation that we shall venture out into this ocean.
Well said, sir. I'm patching you through to shipboard.
Thank you, Jerry.
Private channel, Captain.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Well said, eh? Pity it's not true.
Maybe we'll have a chance to change that here. Private channel out. Now, shall we get some work done here? We don't have much time.
25 years ago, something happened which changed the way human beings had thought about themselves, since first they thought about anything.
It was, I don't know, how do you even come to terms with such an experience? I suppose all I could say is that as far as I was concerned, it was, like the biggest, most important thing.
Aruna Calvert, now ambassador from Mercury to the UP, then pilot navigator aboard the survey vessel Endeavour.
I've had 3 children, I've had 7 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and a great-grandson incubating now. And to have children, to be part of generations, I mean, I suppose there's nothing at all that we can do as human beings that's so significant. But this was just something else entirely.
It was great. I was a kid. I loved flying. Thought the whole thing would be an adventure. It's what kids want, don't you think? Adventures.
Jimmy Peck, now CEO Lunar Leisure, then Sub-Lieutenant SV Endeavour.
Yeah, it turned out how it turned out. It changed all of us, and it changed all of us in ways we didn't have an idea about. I do think it's interesting that most of us we haven't talked about it all that much. One of the reasons we didn't talk all that much is that we were all under military discipline. We all had careers afterwards. And of course that does mean it makes people ask a question. The question they've been asking ever since. What really happened out there? What happened on Rama? What did you find up there that you're not telling us about?
From studies done over the last 3.5 centuries, we can ascertain one salient fact about human beings. We love a conspiracy.
Dr. Laura Ernst, now Professor Emeritus, University of the Outer Moons, then Surgeon Commander SV Endeavour.
We hate chance, we fear chance, and we transmute our fear into certainty. The certainty that somebody or something made it happen.
What you are hearing is the sound astronomers encountered when they picked up what they thought was an anomaly somewhere beyond the orbit of Jupiter. Others had different ideas right from the start. At his Easter message that year, Pope Clement IV spoke to a crowd estimated at 100 million.
In these times in which we live, all things are seeming to change, but one thing will never change. The gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ is changeless. Millions are returning to the true faith, and this new star in our skies is surely a sign of God's everlasting love for His creation.
As all the system knows, it was neither an anomaly, nor a simple object, nor even a star. It was the Voyager that became known as Rama. A Voyager across unimaginable distances that entered our system at a time of great instability. Social, political, and above all, religious.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
Since our first steps into space over 2.5 centuries ago, humankind has been continually pushing the envelope that binds us to the mother world.
We have a liftoff, 32 minutes past the hour.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
When I consider the heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him?
5, 4, main engine start, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff of the Delta II rocket with Phoenix, a distant science outpost seeking clues of the evolution at the polar region of Mars.
The Pioneer 10 is at this hour spinning past the moon in a trajectory that will take it 500 million miles to Jupiter.
Мы двигаемся в тень Меркурий. Сейчас мы находимся в полутени и начинаем нашего спуска. Это Меркурий.
But more space did not lead to more peace.
If there is another war, a planetary war, then it will be about one thing and one thing only. It will be about metals. Who has them? How much are they charging for them? Who wants them? How much are they prepared to spend on getting them? And that places the planet Mercury, with its vast mining operations, at the center of the system. Without Mercury, there is no solution.
I think you're entirely wrong. If, and let us pray war never occurs, there is a conflict, it's going to be about belief. If minerals make mountains, belief moves them. And the peoples of the system are fed up with governments who have created a false god of reason, when there is only one true God.
It was an age of change, an age of anxiety and questioning. Laura Ernst reflects on the nature of those times.
In the early centuries of space travel, after the first hesitant steps onto the mother world's moon, there was A gold rush. A rapid expansion as nations, commerce, worlds realized there were riches to be had. And then the ships went out. And the bases were established, and humanity spread, and communities grew, and they spread further, and the ships went out, and then they came to the end of space. To the realization that our solar system, as vast as it seems to us, is in fact a tiny, crowded corner of local space, and that beyond its outer rim is a vastness, an emptiness so immense that the mind simply cannot comprehend it. We discovered, in short, that for all our technology, for all our pioneering spirit, we were still, and would be for millennia, maybe forever, trapped in our own tiny backyard.
The end of expansion, it was called. And what happens when we can't look out? We started to look inwards, to look for signs and wonders. If the theories of science disappointed us, we would humbly go for answers to the truths of religious belief.
Plug-in news. We are where you are, and you are where the news is. The impact of the object, formerly 31439, now named Rama, has been system-wide.
Rama is not the avatar of Vishnu. Rama is not a model of duty and devotion, nor of courage and intelligence, nor of love and piety. Rama is a lump of rock.
It is a messenger, a star, a new star for a new beginning, leading those who have the wisdom to see it to a new stable, a new birth, a new hope for mankind.
The way I see it, it's like spiders. See, spiders. What if it's cockroaches from beyond space? Well, I never actually saw a poisonous spider or a cockroach because we don't have them on Triton, but I've seen glass about them, you know.
I call this session of the Assembly of the United Planets to order. The UP is not a religious organization. It is secular in its constitution and will remain. I call for order.
The Provisional Government of the United African Confederation this day evacuated the Grand Parliament complex in Kinshasa. The whole of the central belt of the continent is now under the control of the Army of God. Their leader, Cardinal Lopez Caradine, has announced a new order.
It will be God's law we obey, not man's. We have been given a sign in the heavens. We will follow that star to salvation and build Zion on earth.
Meanwhile, the Mars Assembly has acknowledged the deep feelings of its citizens, but as yet has refused to alter the secular constitution which has, in the words of the First Minister, served us well until now.
The political and social structures that were holding the united planets and moons together were strong and flexible. But by the time of Rama's appearance, they were under immense strain. On the one hand, the religious revival with its billions upon billions of adherents. On the other, Mercury, still a secular world, but increasingly impatient for a status and voice that would reflect its vital importance as provider of almost 30% of all the heavy metals used throughout the system. And in the middle of all this, out of nowhere, Rama arrived. June 15, 2317. Everything changed. Yet nothing changed. Tamara Ruiz, representative to the United Planets of the Outer Moons, newly arrived at the UP complex on Luna.
So I arrived on Luna. I was appointed to the Rama committee. Second day there. The idea was to keep it small, to enable it to function efficiently. There were just 3 reps, me from Mars and the inner moons, Tan Sun from the outer moons, Henning from Mercury, and the chair, Indira Gopal, representing the mother world. The scientific advisor was Dr. Earl King. Everybody knows the doctor. He was very a big name at the time. Some of our early meetings were bumped live to the system, but there were tensions.
The committee is now in session. I think I am in a position to say this is a gathering of unique talents assembled to deal with a unique situation. The directive the Secretary-General has given us is to evaluate that situation and advise Captain Norton where necessary.
Henning, Mercury.
Will he listen to our advice?
Tansun, Ambassador Outer Moons. This officer has a tremendous responsibility. What sort of person is he?
I have retrieval on that. Shall I bump it to your tablet?
Well, I'm sure the room as a whole will be interested in Dr. Erlking's conclusions.
Absolutely. Let's keep nothing under the table.
William Tien Norton, born 2277, Oceania, Earth Chinese mother, lunar Caucasian father. Education, Sydney, Bombay, Houston, then 5 years at Astrograd, specializing in propulsion. Commissioned April 2302. Rose through ranks to executive officer, then stalled 5 years before promotion to captain.
Reasons?
Not noted on record, Representative Ruiz.
But?
An operation off Titan. He questioned the procedures laid down by his superiors.
And?
He was proved right.
That would present career problems?
I have yet to hear anything that makes this man a candidate for this mission.
Norton holds joint Martian home-world citizenship and has a partner on each world. Male on Earth, female on Mars. 2 children, option on a third. Appointed commander of survey vessel Endeavour. First mission to retrograde satellites of Jupiter. Career proceeding until this matter came up.
I agree. Why this man?
Because, Representative, he has the only ship capable of reaching Rama before it reaches perihelion around the sun and slingshots out of the system. His crew is drawn from across the system, which is of no small political importance at this time. Basically, I think the expression is needs must.
When the devil drives,
I
yes.
have no doubt he's a competent officer, but how will he react to an entirely novel situation?
Since it is entirely novel, we can hardly know. But given his record, I should say the man has the initiative required to act upon his best judgment.
Which is hardly as novel as you suggest, Doctor. There have been numerous other cases.
Excuse me, but may I bring up a subject here?
Please.
Are we scared to raise the question, the one big question? What if there's something alive in Rama?
Exactly. What if the intentions of this thing are hostile?
The question of inhabitants or otherwise is unlikely to arise, given the nature of Rama and the length and time of its journey.
No, you can't know that.
Nobody knows.
What if we leave them alone? They might leave us alone.
Perhaps we should let them pass.
If this officer is as vigorous and capable as you suggest, Dr. Erlking, might he not go too far?
The story is well known, perhaps too well known. Perhaps we can no longer see the story, if we ever could. What is certain is that once Rama appeared, the system could not ignore it. It offered too much. It offered the chance for us to find the reassurance that we had a future either with God or with a space drive that would give us the universe. Rama would answer the questions that bedeviled a people spread across 3 planets and 7 moons. It was hardly a surprise if this need became driven by the dominating emotion of those years, the hunger for the certainty of belief. And all of those hopes resided in the captain and crew of one space survey vessel, the Endeavour. A vessel that was, due to the time lag of space communications, effectively isolated, acting independently.
At the time, all over the system, vast religious tensions had resurfaced. Billions wanted answers, new star appearing in the sky, even if they couldn't see it directly. You get the picture. The mission to Rama had to produce. It was supposed to produce answers. That's what the system wanted, answers. And the man who was supposed to give them was Captain William Norton.
Captain Norton, he had a reputation amongst junior officers as being a good captain. You know, I suppose one could say an adventurous captain. He should have been more senior by that time, but he tended to speak out. Not in public, but he would always say what he thought. Inadvisedly at times, people said. But personally, I found him... I still think he was the best captain I ever served under. I was proud to have been his pilot-navigator.
Things happen in space, just like anywhere else. Only in space you never get that second chance. You never get that second of time to think again or reconsider. Space is a very final place, you understand?
We waited, but when Endeavour returned,
the survey vessel Endeavour docked this lunar morning at the Clavius facility and was immediately impounded by the UP authorities. The crew were briefly available to the media.
The crew performed well. Completed our mission. There'll be an official statement.
The crew performed well. We completed our mission. There will be an official statement. Those were the only words Commander Norton uttered on his return. Since that time, the system has become more than familiar with the images taken within Rama. They have become part of the background of our lives, and yet, like the Sphinx of ancient Egypt and the lines of Oaxaca, they remain an enigma. The crew produced glass and text on their experiences. Studies were published of many aspects of the Rama Rendezvous. Stims without number were made. We have everything, and yet we have nothing. We have no answers, no reassurance. The system needed Rama. Rama appeared, but Rama did not deliver. Or did she? What is the secret at the heart of Rama? Commander William Norton, the captain of Endeavour, perhaps the only man who really knows, has not spoken in public for 25 years, and the solar system still waits for an answer to the questions. What really happened out there? What did you find, Captain Norton? What did you find on Rama?
Captain Norton! They told me that you'll be down here, on the beach, watching the sea. They said you do that every day.
Not when there's a storm, but the Weather Bureau don't tell us when they're working something up. They like surprises.
Do you like them, sir?
I'm too old for surprises.
I was surprised when I received your message.
Fetched you down from Mars, eh? It is Mars, isn't it? You've got the build for the gravity.
Yes, sir. Born and bred.
Find it heavy down here?
Heavy enough, but I visit a lot.
Sit down. Have a drink. Smoke if you want. I don't anymore. Don't drink either. Some sailor, eh? They bumped me your show. It was strange seeing them all again, hearing their voices, some of them.
Do you meet them? Any of them?
No. Oh, we did at first, but in the service you get posted. You don't see people one decade to the next, and then you're out and sitting by the sea, watching the surf. You know, they still ride the surf here. Captain Cook saw them when he was here in the 18th century. Greatest sailor in history, on or off world.
The Endeavour. Of course, your ship.
Cook's ship. You know, they rewrote his journals. Thought a rough fella like him would never produce anything fit for the sophisticated world to read.
You've made a record of the whole thing, haven't you?
Made? I am the record of all the things they don't want you to know.
Why now?
Oh, no, not now. When I'm dead. And don't worry, that won't be long. This thing... There are some things they still can't cure, thank the God of... what? Time? Decorum? That's why you're here, Mr. Quok. That's why I'm talking to you. Now, you all own the poison chalice. It'll be your decision. Yeah, well, they'll know. Make no mistake about that. They will know.
There are rumors out on the nets. Always have been.
Rumors of what?
Rumors of wars that might have been, of what you really found up there, of what happened, what really happened, things I did not put in the stim.
You know, in some ways, it wasn't all them, it was me as well. I never wanted to talk about it. It does something to you. Space. Cooked new. Once you made those voyages, crossed those unimaginable gulfs, found your unknown lands like star captains glowing in seas far darker and colder than any we know on our world. We were sailing amongst the great drifts, a million Ks beyond Mars. It was a routine mission, replacing marker buoys in the asteroid belt.
Lockdown.
Copy that. Release buoy.
Releasing.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, and contact. Fixed?
Fixed. Run it.
Running. Beacon installed and functional, sir.
Thank you. Oh, what's that? Down 30.
77 to go.
I have a message coming in, sir. It's Marc's priority red.
Whoa.
Eyes only commander.
Bumper direct.
What happened? That's
We ever had a red before? Nobody uses that much bandwidth.
not unless it's a war, they don't.
Sir?
Don't ask me. I never had one either.
Probably Mercury again. Those rock jockeys are never happy unless they are pounding something into dust.
Hey, I have family on Mercury.
Relax. No, don't relax.
Sir? Shall I lay a course for our next intervention?
Hold it for now, Lieutenant. In fact, hold it for good. Comms, give me the ship.
You have it, sir.
What's happening, sir?
Seems we're not alone anymore, Peter.
You say what you like, Barnes, but I make one fine espresso.
You need to, Jimmy, with the weight that machine eats up. You could carry an extra spectrometer for your coffee.
Captain's coffee, Barnes. Still the only way to make it. That's why she flies. Here you go. You got your next move yet?
Sure, knight to bishop 5. Damn, it's good. Really.
This is the captain. Listen up.
Oh, man, looks serious.
I've just received comms from Earth. It was sent full bandwidth, condition red. 6 months ago, astronomers picked up an object designated 31439.
Asteroid. It's hardly a red.
Just beyond the orbit of Jupiter.
Not that far out. They'd never see it unless...
First contact at such a distance indicated a body of exceptional size. From the strength of the echo, a diameter of at least 40 Ks was computed.
Mom.
Course calculations indicated that 31439 was transiting our system, passing the inner planets until it reached perihelion around the Sun and set off again into deep space. It was tracked as a matter of course, but presented no threat. Here's an image taken at the time.
Looks like a... what, 15th May?
Closer.
A month ago, instruments calculating the object's light path encountered an anomaly. It didn't have one.
Okay, that's impossible.
As you'll all know, that would indicate either the body wasn't spinning, or that it was perfectly symmetrical. It was put down to instrument failure until someone booked time on the far side reflector.
Hey, nobody gets time at far side. That's
Here's the image. 31439 was spinning. A rev every 4 minutes.
something that big, that's heavy.
Then more anomalies arose. Spinning that fast at that weight,
Thank you, Cap.
the gravitation of the object should produce serious G effects upon the bodies it passed near. That hasn't happened. The conclusion is that 31439 is not composed of solid matter. Probes were launched, images sent back. You can see them.
Sorry, Jimmy.
Don't worry, Ruby. It's all just...
Real. It's made. It's... Jimmy, that thing... The thing...
came from someplace else.
As you see, we have our first visitor from the stars. The object has been renamed Rama. Calculating orbit and speed, the Science Council of the UP has ascertained there's only one ship capable of making rendezvous with the object before it passes round the sun and leaves our system. That ship is Endeavour. We are now under the command of the UP and will make our way with the utmost dispatch to a point where we can shake hands with our visitor. Thank you, that is all.
That is not all. Oh, and they can forget the command stuff. By the time we're halfway to Rendezvous, it'll take 10 hours for anything to reach us from anywhere. We'll be on our own.
Yeah, but think of all the STEM deals we'll get out of this. We're all gonna be rich boys and girls.
Or dead. You think about that, Jimmy Pack.
We picked up extra fuel from 3 other ships, survey ships, stranding them until the tanker could reach them. We weren't very popular, but... well, we were top priority, you see.
That's what they felt on Luna, at the UP building.
Well, that's what they said. That's what they say, but things are never that simple.
Go on, Captain.
Well, they thought it was tricky when they had nation-states. Take 3 planets and 7 moons, and you got something else again. They called it the Rama Committee. Like they all had one aim, but no. They all had their priorities, Mr. Quark. Always priorities.
May I, as the chair of this committee, quite clearly state at this point to the members that the peoples of the combined planets and moons will not accept inaction on our part. Rama has occasioned unparalleled interest.
Religious hysteria.
Interest in the citizens of the system. They want answers.
And if they don't get them, their elected representatives will be unelected at the first opportunity.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
I am at this point going to terminate the public sessions of the Rama Committee.
It's about politics, isn't it?
It's always about politics.
This session is now in secure mode, and I am sure I do not have to remind representatives and others of the protocols to which we have all put our names.
I must protest to the chair. It is the opinion of Mercury that all these proceedings should be carried on open air for all to observe.
Well, that is surely because your government is intent on making mischief. On unsettling the status quo with the aim of gaining a more powerful voice in the system.
A voice we deserve!
Nevertheless, the protocols have been signed and must be observed.
May I remind the chair that the protocols obtain only so long as the committee exists?
The committee has its remit from the United Planets.
Closing object.
500 k's, Captain.
Take us over the sunward pole, Lieutenant, and hold at 300. XO?
No unexpected pull, sir. Not that I'd like to set down on the equator, eh? She'd flip us off in a second, speechy spinning. Should make for an interesting gravitational effect if we ever get inside.
In position, sir. All stop?
All stop.
Stopped and locked.
Bruce?
Absolutely nothing, sir. Not a peep. If there's anyone home, they're not saying hello.
That's pretty scary. Sorry, sir.
That's all right, pilot. I think we're all feeling...
Release remote, sir.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Engineering.
Barnes.
Remote's ready to go. EVA.
Ready to go.
Comms.
Comms standby.
Release.
Releasing 1, 2, and 3. Remote's released.
Remote's online. Bumping image to screen.
Give me the equator on 1, 2, and 3. Concentrate on the sunward pole. Let's see if there's a welcome mat left out.
Looks featureless to me.
Maybe there's no way in.
Why hollow it out in that case?
Remote 2 approaching pole. Remote 3 observing.
Go in, sir.
Take her into 10 meters.
That's closer than hell, sir.
Eyes wide open, then.
Taking her in now. Are you getting the flow from remote 3?
Drum-shaped. Looks perfect to me. Like it was turned on a lathe.
Some lathe. That mother's 50 kilometers from end to end. 40 kilometers across. Rotation constant. 360 every 4. That's 4 minutes.
Check that.
There. Something there on the sunward end. In the center.
Magnification, Lieutenant.
Extreme as it is.
There. There's a shadow. There's a shadow. Something's casting sun shadows.
Could that be 2?
1 k's long.
3?
Locks. Yes?
3 airlocks.
Are you seeing this? I'm getting 3 locks. Are they airlocks? Those are airlocks?
That's what we're getting to, Sergeant.
I don't know if it's a welcome mat, but it sure as heck's a front door.
3 front doors?
Remote at 10 meters.
Take her in as close as you feel is safe, Sergeant.
I'll kiss their sweet butts if you like, boss.
Somebody definitely made those things.
Not something human.
I'm recording, sir. Do you want comms? I can run a separate track.
Better split it. I'm not sure Barnes's sweet butt is quite up to one small step. Or even I claim this land in the name of King George. And people, let's come up with something momentous for the first words, shall we?
Holding remote 2 at 5K. Remote 1 will be in position over the equator in 7 minutes.
Definitely airlocks. 3 of them. Why 3?
No iconography, orthography I can see.
Looks pretty self-evident to me. Basic cylinder lock. Dr. Ernst, are you watching this?
What do you think, Bill?
Conclusions?
On the evidence presented? None except for what I can see.
Speculate. You're the biologist here.
I think I'd like to take a closer look at it. I don't think it's hostile, but I don't think that means we won't get hurt if we don't go very, very carefully.
Thank you, Doctor. Sergeant Barnes, take your remote close enough to operate the lock.
Well, here we go. Extending auxiliaries. Contact. Which way do I rotate? This thing was never made for human hands.
The mathematics work out. They're in a recognizable sequence. Go right.
Going right. 1, 2, 3 revolutions and...
Lock opening.
Take remote 1 into the lock, Sergeant.
Sir?
Light her up and take her in.
In we go. Saturday Night Lights.
Is that another lock? Similar arrangements of handle?
Set her down, sir. I have a solid surface.
I can see, Sergeant. No, let's go right in.
Are you sure about this, Captain?
No, but we have very little time before Rama moves out of range and we need to leave. There's not a moment to lose, as Cook would have said.
We lose the remote, sir, and the yards are going to have some questions.
So we better find some answers.
Gyros indicate the whole lock is turning 180 degrees, and we have a further lock. Minimal gravity, proceeding, and we have...
We have sound, so there's no vacuum in there.
Another lock.
Rule of 3. 3 outer locks, 3 inner locks.
Why?
We don't have the data to answer that.
Proceed, sir.
Take her in, Sergeant.
I'm using lights, but not getting much here.
Tunnel. A corridor?
How long?
Barnes, bounce a laser off the far end, will you?
It's half a K, Captain. Otherwise, featureless.
Take us in. Give us a panoramic view.
If that's half a K, then we're probably talking, with the triple locks as well, about the shell of the thing.
Remote 1 still in position over the equator. Still bumping data.
Still getting it, Ruby. It's all good. Seismic soundings indicate just above a half K for the walls.
I'm at the extent of the tunnel, Captain.
And guess what?
More locks. Any bets on how many?
No, but I'll tell you one thing. I'm certain that once through there, we're inside.
I think we're losing the signal pretty much now. Go on, sir.
No pull out. Let's put eyes in there for the big moment. And I want a hard line from the ship to wherever we establish a base inside that thing.
So, who goes, Captain?
You went first.
Well, Captain's responsibility. Besides, if anything went wrong, they wouldn't need any orders of mine to get out of there.
But you wanted to be first.
Yeah. In the PM, wind southerly, clear weather with which we stood into the bay and anchored under the south shore. Saw as we came in, on both points of the bay, several of the natives. And we threw them some nails and beads ashore with which they seemed not ill-pleased, so much that I thought they beckoned us to come ashore. But in this, I was mistaken, for as soon as we put the boat in, they came to oppose us.
Cope again.
At Botany Bay. I'm sorry, I forgot you're not from here. First landing of a European on Australia.
Opposed? You really thought you might meet?
Well, I didn't know. Nobody knew.
And back on Luna, at the Rama committee?
Well, they were still more or less united at that point. Obviously, the further we chased Rama, the longer the messages took to reach us, and the more out of sync we were with everything that was happening there.
No, but we don't know.
They
if
should
we
go
can-
armed. They should lay charges as they go.
The representative for Mercury is altogether too forward with these suggestions. We know nothing about the intentions of this.
Ark, I think. It's some kind of ark from who knows when. Though we have some ideas, obviously.
Perhaps our advisor would share these ideas with the committee in a spirit of cooperation.
If that is how the chair views this committee, we have on Mars and Moons yet to be entirely convinced of that.
Representative Ruiz.
May I remind our young colleague from Mars that, as the old saw has it, beggars can be choosers.
Professor, how long has Rama been traveling through space?
We have a very precise determination of orbit and velocity. And assuming there has been no navigational intervention, we can calculate the last star it transited, an irregular variable, was something in the region of 200,000 years ago.
Transited? He didn't originate at that time.
Unlikely from an unstable sun.
May be caused by that instability, if it is an arc.
If current theories of stellar evolution are correct, the star would never have been stable, and thus would never have had a planetary system. No, Rama has been traveling for at least 200,000 years. Perhaps for more than 1 million.
Then it must be a dead world.
That depends on death being a universal.
The heat death of the universe is second law of thermodynamics.
Where my grandfathers originated, on the Motherworld, there were temples so old no one quite knew the kind of life their builders lived, but there were the temples all the same.
They went on and on and on, endless speculation, and behind it all, politics.
And you were about to step aboard with Aruna Calvin. What made you choose her?
She was a pilot. She had a cool head. She was from Mercury, originally. She had family connections on Mercury.
And Mercury was providing, what, 30% of all the heavy metal being mined across the whole solar system at that time. Seems like the committee was not the only one doing the politics.
She was a good officer.
And that was a good speech you gave. Newton picking up pebbles on the seashore.
For public consumption, but it wasn't untrue. You've seen the shots, everyone has. You had them on your show. The vast space, the terraces, the stairways, and the darkness. Total darkness.
You were going to have to install lighting, communications, which I know from the get-go were censored.
All comms are censored to some degree. No one would ever step aboard a deep space transit if they had any idea of what the crew really talked about.
And you were expecting trouble from the start, weren't you?
You know about plans, do you, Mr. Quagg?
Go on.
When I was a junior officer and involved in the peacekeeping effort after the the Venice business, our seniors had a phrase: no plan survives battle. We used to say no plan survives breakfast. Everything goes wrong.
So, you done your first reconnaissance. What then?
I consulted with Surgeon Commander Ernst.
Laura? I've been waiting for you, Bill.
I was busy.
For 10 years? Well?
I'm on a hook here.
No, come on, Bill.
We have a job to do. We're the only people in the system who can do it. It's an opportunity.
Don't give me the commander's speech to the troops.
We wrote it together, I seem to remember.
Well?
This thing we're doing here, so far it's all been according to the regulations. But when I was in there, when Calvert and I threw those flares,
I'm the medical officer. I know no one has slept well since we got here. Nightmares, anxiety, inability to compute, leading to...
That can't happen, Laura.
Not to your crew, Captain Cook. You give them lime juice, you give them greens, and they still complain? Oh, yes, it can. Endeavor isn't just making a rendezvous with Rama. It's driving full throttle into the unknown. So in answer to your question, Bill, you can't play this one by the rules. You have to trust your feelings.
Well, then maybe it makes sense taking Russo for this leg. He's a believer. He should be comfortable with the unknown.
Endeavour actual. Position please, Commander.
We're through the last lock. 3 as usual. And looking out over the interior of Rama now from the pole. Seeing nothing much except darkness. Huge darkness out there.
Copy that. Sergeant Rousseau, are your systems up?
Ready, sir. I'm touching the floods now. Is Barnes online?
Ready to roll on your word, Roos.
Just don't fly us, sir.
Use the right wires, mister, and we'll try not to.
Calvert, Endeavour. Be good to see what you're seeing, Roos.
Not much of anything at the moment.
Situation, please.
Relax, Jerry. Roos just being a klutz.
Copy that.
We're ready.
Okay, Endeavour. Let's have the juice.
Endeavour ready.
Power online.
We should be receiving, sir.
Roos?
We have it. Switching through to plasma arc. Now.
Are you getting this, Endeavour?
We're getting it, sir. Not quite sure what we're getting, but we're getting it.
That first view, well, partial view. They released it within days, virtually as soon as it reached the mother world.
They were waiting for it.
The whole system was waiting for it. You can have no idea, Captain, of the excitement, of the need there was for something wonderful.
It's huge. It's...
We're getting distort. It can't be.
It is... It's round. We are inside. My God, Jerry. There are terraces, vast terraces leading out from the airlock here.
They go right round. Over our heads. It's amazing.
They fall away. Are you getting this, Endeavour?
Stretching away from the light into the darkness. And those 3 massive descending ladders, if ladders they were.
Looks like rails. 3, evenly spaced around the inner circle leading away.
Down to some kind of central plane.
Tracks, slides. A transit system?
Or something bigger than man. A pathway.
Leading into the darkness. Leading somewhere. To some unknown destination. And we all knew that you were going to go down those tracks, those ladders. The crew of Endeavour weren't individuals any longer. They were each one of them, representing us.
What do we got, Barnes?
Haven't you been watching?
No, I was busy.
They're going into Rama and you're busy. Jimmy, I'll never understand you.
So, what do they got? What's this?
Stairway to something. They're going down now. I'm going to put a power sled together to save time. You're supposed to be smart with your hands. You can help me.
Why don't they just fly in there?
Oh, come on, you know why. The EVA is designed for 0G. In Rama, they've Coriolis and increasing Gs.
So, what are we seeing here? Are they using plasma arcs?
They've got them on auto sweep at the hub.
How far in?
A K and a half. It's nothing compared to the size of the thing. Just a couple of steps at the start of the marathon.
Ernst, Endeavour. Captain, Mr. Russo, I'm monitoring your heart and respiration here, and they're climbing. I'd like you to slow down your descent for 10 minutes.
We thought no one was looking.
Someone's always looking.
Endeavour actual. Your visual feed is beginning to break up a little. Is there anything you can do about that?
Nothing that I can see right now. No obvious cause.
Barnes, you getting it too?
It's integral to the signal, sir. Maybe if we slaved a channel through the hard line, we'd eliminate it. I don't know.
Ship, are you copying temperature and air pressure?
We are, Roos. What are you thinking?
I'm showing just below freezing and 300 millibars. Seems to me it's increasing as we move away from the airlocks.
We copy that.
Mr. Russo?
The air's almost breathable. That's incredible. It'll make moving about so much easier.
It will that, but let's not be hasty.
It's going to be fine, Captain. We could breathe it now.
Lieutenant.
Russo, don't do that. Keep your helmet on.
It's fine. It's like you opened a dry cellar after 1,000,000 years. But it's fine. I knew it would be.
You believed it would be, Sergeant, and you were right this time. Next time, wait. We do not make decisions based on belief.
This is a special place, sir. I know it is. It's an ark. It's a message. It's a message from God sent to tell us
Private
that...
channel, Russo. Pete, we're out of the comms loop right now, so I'll accept what you just said as your opinion. I know you're a member of a church.
Fifth Church of Christ Astronaut, sir.
Once we go back online, keep that opinion to yourself and remember who you are and what you are.
Endeavour actual. EVA party answer.
Jerry.
What's your position?
We're breathing the atmosphere of Rama, with no ill effects. The air is rather thin and somewhat dry, but it is air.
So where does it come from?
File under pending, like everything else in this place. Moving on now.
Would you have done that, Barnes?
Taken my helmet off in that place? No way. Not even if the meter showed 100.
Thought you were an engineer.
Yeah, but I'm not a fool. Are you actually doing anything there, Jimmy?
Circuits. You need circuits for the sled?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Endeavour actual. Confirm your position, please.
Approaching the bottom of the track.
Grounded.
One small step.
Calvert Endeavour, we're still taking your image, Ruth, but it's definitely decaying the further in you get.
We're going to establish base camp here. It should make climbing back easier without this lot.
It's so quiet. A tang of metal. Burnt gunpowder?
First men on the moon said the module smelled of burnt gunpowder when they repressurized.
Maybe that's it. Maybe. I don't know, sir. This place, it's
like nothing we ever saw before, Bruce. We don't have a ruler to lay along it.
No. Something else. Something... It's like something is waiting to happen.
And if we wait, we'll see, but my bet is Rama's dead. And has been for maybe millions of years.
Ernst Endeavour, more work, less talk, please. You're sending your levels up.
Thank you. We'll keep it to a minimum.
Looks good to me, Barnes. Light, strong. The motor's gonna be a weight problem.
We'll rig for a 50-kilo lift at whatever Central G is gonna be.
Well, it doesn't need to last, that's for sure. We have, what, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks before we have to leave?
Something like that. As Rama... Baked Alaska.
What is it?
Bridge! EXO, are you there?
I'm here.
I need to speak to you, sir. Now.
Come on up, Barnes.
Hey, will you tell me what's wrong?
Later, Jimmy.
Baked Alaska?
Looking at your gauges, the temperature inside Rama is 0, right?
Yes.
We're well inside the orbit of Venus, heading for Mercury. I did a quick calculation on the way up here, and I reckon that by now, the rock on the sunward side is getting hot. Getting very hot. Now, we know there's air in there, so something must be generating it. We know the temperature was below 0, and now it's just above. The heat has been increasing for weeks, and as far as I can calculate, we're due for a big jump in temperature. Anytime. Our people shouldn't be there when that happens.
Baked Alaska.
Endeavour actual.
Rama party, what is it, Jerry?
Sir, we'd like you to start back now.
We're doing fine. Not feeling any ill effects.
You may have a problem, sir. We want you to start back now. Leave everything in place. Say again, Captain, you're breaking up.
We'll get back to you, Endeavour. Tonight, something's happening in here. My God! What? Shut your eyes!
Rama. Rama, what is your situation? Rama, answer, please.
Calvert?
Whiteout, sir. We're getting nothing on screen.
Rama. Rama, what is your situation? Rama, answer, please. Rama. Rama, what is your situation? Rama, answer, please.
In part 1 of Rendezvous with Rama by Arthur C. Clarke, the crew were Captain Norton, played by Richard DeLay, Rousseau by Jimmy Akingbola, Jerry, Inam Mirza, Barnes, Janice Aqua, Jimmy Pack, Robert Lonsdale, Dr. Ernst, Anya Sawinski, and Calvert, Archie Punjabi. The Rama committee were Gopal, played by Shelley King, Henning, Paul Ryder, Ruiz, Jill Cardo, Earl King, Peter Marinka, and Tan Sun was Jonathan Taffler. The documentary narrator Lee Kwok was Paul Courtney Hugh. Rendezvous with Rama is dramatized for radio by Mike Walker, and the director is Marc Beeby.